the last video, I talked about consumerism. I briefly talked about how my problem weren't about exactly makeup and clothes, but ended up being a problem related to books. And I would like to explore a bit more this part of consumerism, which is buying books. Because I think that in the two previous videos, the video about frugal chic and the video about consumerism, I ended up focusing so much on makeup and on clothes, which, as I previously said, I don't actually had a problem with consumerism about makeup or clothes. I like to buy in makeup. It's something that I actually like buying, but I'm completely able to control myself, and I not actually forcing myself to buy makeup, and I'm not actually accumulating makeup, you know? And it doesn't mean that I don't buy it. But when it comes to books, it was something I actually had a problem with. And I wanted to talk about it because we had some kind of um, way of thinking in our society that if you're spending money on books, it's not a problem because so few people read. So if you're the kind of person who is always buying books, it means that you're investing on your intellectual life, and though and it's not exactly related because I was buying a lot of books and some of them I don't even read yet, and it was like 4 years ago when I actually had a problem with books. It was 4 years ago. So it's not because you're buying books that means that you're reading it. And I have to be honest, I already knew many people in my environment that they were always buying books. But they were incredibly dumb because we had also some kind of thought that any kind of book is good for you to read and will make you smarter. And no, of course, no. If you're reading, for example, a um love story, um contemporary love story, you don't exactly learn something from it. You're only having a good time reading, and it's not a bad thing actually. I think read can doesn't exactly means that you have to read to be smart. You can read to enjoy your free time as a hobby, and I think it's amazing. And it's actually a good hobby because it's a hobby that forces you to think, that forces you to understand, that it will make you learn new words. So even though you're not reading for intellectual purposes, you're doing a good thing while you're reading. But as I said, if you wanna read to get smarter, of course the books you're reading will define how much you're absorbing knowledge. So that's what I mean. Many people think that, oh my gosh, the girl reads so much, she's so smart. And sometimes she's not. She's just read her romantic books, and there's no problem on that, but it won't make her a smart person, you know? And as I said previously, many people think that as long as you're buying books, it's not a waste of money, but it can be a waste of money. It can be because we have a life, we have to study, we have to work. We don't have time to be reading the whole day, you know? And also the habit of reading cannot be something that is, like messing with their day. So for example, I already knew some people that they spend the whole day reading, and then the next day they go to work completely tired because they didn't sleep. So is it a good thing? No. The hobby of reading, it has to be something that you have some kind of control on. You cannot let this enjoyment take our free time and end up taking the good habits that you have around the day. So we have to understand that reading is a good thing, but we have to control it. We have to control your consumerist habits we have to control the time we spend on it, what kind of books we're reading. We have to have control on it, you know? And as I said previously in the previous video about consumerism, uh, I had a problem with that because I was buying a ton of books, and most part of the books I bought, they were from classic literature, which is my favorite genre when it comes to reading. And of course, there are many genres in classic literature, but you got me. But I was buying a lot of books, and as I said, I don't even read all of them because once I understood that I was having a problem, that every month I was like buying 3, 4 books, I understood that I had a problem, and I stopped buying books. And I don't buy a book, I think, since 2023. I don't buy any book. And it's not like I don't want it. I want to buy. Actually, I'm lying. Look, you caught me lying. I bought 2 books last year. 2. It was the only books I bought in the whole year. And it's not because I I couldn't control my urges, but it is a series of books that I had, and I only had one book. It's actually a trilogy, and I only had one of the books, and the other 2 they were on sales. And I was like, man, I have to take this opportunity. That's why I bought the other 2 books. But unless these 2, I haven't buy any book, especially because I knew I have a problem with reading. And not with reading, with buying books, because I I was always watching booktube content. Yes, not book talk. I don't actually consume book talk content because I download on TikTok last year, and I was already clean when it comes to consuming content about books. But I used to follow many booktubers, and don't get me wrong, I still like this kind of content, but I tried to control my urges because every time I start to watch those kind of videos again, I want to buy books again. Because that's it. We heard about some book and we want to read it. We want to have the experience of reading it. But we are already reading other books. So I'm trying to only buy books once I finish the ones I have. And I don't know, I'll maybe cut it from the final results of the video. But there are a pile of books to read. I'm reading 3 books right now, uh, consecutively. One of them I've been reading for like years because it's pretty fat. And the other 2, one I received as a gift from my best friend, and not my best friend, a friend of mine. She gave me, and I'm reading it because she asked me to read. And the other one I've been reading for years as well because I take a bit of time reading books. And since I was always buying new books, I didn't even finish one of them, and I started reading another one. You can see that there's a problem. So that's why I stopped buying books. It's not something that I buy right now, and it's not like I don't want it, but I'm trying to control my urges. That's why I always say that consumerism, it will depend on you. Because I want to buy books. It's not like I don't want. Of course, I want to have someday like a library in my home, you know. But right now, I have to understand that I'm not reading the books I have. And I have to finish the books I'm reading for I buy new ones, you know. And I see many people who is always buying books and they don't read their books, me included, you know. And as I said, sometimes we don't even see this as a problem because you think, no, but I'm buying books. It's not a problematic thing. It's books. Books, it would always be a good investment. And I agree with you. But if you're buying so much, you're not having money at the end of the month because you're always buying books that you don't even read. It is a problem. It's not because it's books that is better than makeup, that is better than a clothes. No, it's not. You're spending money on things that you don't need. It's the same thing. The logic is the same, you know? So, as I said, How can you overcome it? A good first step is for you to stop consuming content about it. The logic is the same. Once I stopped consuming book talk, as I said, I never consumed it, but once I stopped consuming booktube content, I don't have this urge to buy books anymore. Like, I'm content with the ones I have. And if I want to know about some kind of issues, or I heard about a classic that I didn't know previously, then I will think if I buy it or not. But I try my best to kind of avoid consuming this kind of content, because once I started consuming it, I want to buy books. It's like it's an instant thing, and we have to control it. You have. And as I said, it's not like I don't want to buy books. I want to buy. I have a huge list on Amazon, but I don't buy them. I simply don't buy them. I'm trying to control it. I'm trying to not, like, give myself away when it comes to books. The second tip that I have is, if you really want a book, you really want it, try to search second-hand book before searching for new ones, because second-hands, they're much cheaper, so you won't be wasting so much of money, and you'll be like helping our environment, because you're buying secondhand, so they won't produce so many new ones. These books that are not used, they probably will be put on trash, so it's a good thing for you to buy secondhands, because you're using something that was already produced, and you're like kind of avoiding for us to make more trash, basically. So try to buy secondhands, but if you actually have a problem, it's better for you don't even buy them. Another tip that I think is pretty good is for you to see the books you already have, the ones you don't like so much, you're not very into, or you read it and you're like, no, it's not so good. It's a good choice for you to sell them as a secondhand books, or you give them away, or you give them to a friend, or to a note, or to a library. There are options for you to kind of open this space on your room for you to buy books that you actually like. Another great thing is that I'm interested on your book. Before you buying a new one, try to find if it's available for you to read on your phone. Read it first, read the first chapters, and if you actually like it, then you buy it. It is something that I'm doing right now, and it's actually a good thing. I'm actually really liking doing it. Recently, I read a Bridgerton book on my phone, and I don't regret reading it on my phone, because it's not a book that for me is worthy to buy, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. It's not worthy because it's not a book that I actually like it. So in the end, it was a good choice to me to don't buy it and download it and only read the first chapters. I finished it because I wanted to finish it, but if I had bought it, I would probably regret a lot. So it's a good choice. If you're into classic books, most part of them, they are available for free for you to download on the internet, because they are, I forgot the word, but it's not illegal. It's actually legal. They are like, um, let me search the right word that I'm thinking about. But you can download them, and it's not illegal and none of this. Let me just remember the word. They are in public domain. It was quite obvious, but I don't know why I forgot. They're in public domain, so you can download them for free, and I think it's a good choice. So if you're into a classic but you don't know if you want to buy it, try to download it as a public domain, and it's actually so good. But recent books, like from this century, basically, they're not in public domain, so it's a better choice for you to buy the the ebook version on Amazon. It's pretty cheap, so it won't be such a loss of money. And you have to be, if you're smart, you can be into, follow the authors of the books and try to see if they're on sale on Amazon. I already download books for free on Amazon because they gave a sale that this book will be for free today. And I downloaded for free. It was a Dominic Holland book. I forgot the name of the book right now because I downloaded it some years ago. But it was so good because it was literally for free, and this book is not even sold in my country. So being able to download it for free in Amazon and read this book was amazing. So you can, and I only knew about it because I followed him. So it's a good tip. Try to follow the authors you like, the authors who is still alive, and most part of the time they will announce the sales on their Instagram account. So I was very lucky because on that day, it was only one day, it was for free. So I could download it through Kindle Unlimited. Love it. So it's a good option for you as well. So you can read the books without actually buying them and, like accumulating books on your own, And as I said, I don't think that buying books is a bad thing, but it can be if you don't have money to buy them, if you're not reading the books you buy, if you're buying books you don't like, but you don't know how to get rid of these books, I can do some options here, you know. And as I said, there are many other options you can search about, but what I want to make sure here is that if you want to buy a book, try to look for it secondhand first. If it's a story that you're not sure about if you like it or not, try to buy the ebook or download it before buying the physical version. It's actually things that will help you a lot, and the same way that if you download the book first, read it on your phone or on your Kindle first, and eventually and see if you will actually like it or not. You can also like it and buy it. So for example, I read 1984 on my phone on pandemic, and it's a book that for me is totally worthy of buying because I actually liked this book so much. I still haven't bought it. I don't know why, but I never bought it. But it's a book that I actually like and I actually want to reread in the future. So for me, it's totally worthy to buy it, because it's a book that I actually like. That it's a book that is totally worthy of having it at home, So it's a good thing for you to think if it's actually worthy of having this book, If it's a book that you think about rereading it, One thing that I also do, but this thing is not very, I don't recommend it so much. But if it's a book that I'm curious about, I buy a cheap version of it, like a paper book version, a pocket version, and I read it first, and eventually I buy a good cover, a hardcover one. I do it a lot, but it's not very family friendly. But I always give the version I bought first to a friend or to my sister. I don't keep these books with me. I try to give it to somebody else and then I buy a new one. It's a good thing. I like doing it, but I don't actually recommend it. I think that downloading it and reading the ebook is much better. And another option, some books that are also on public domain, they're available as audio books version on YouTube. I don't know if it's available on Spotify. I don't think so, but on YouTube, I know there are many public domain books available there, and I also like listening to them. Um, so it's also a good option for you. If you don't want to buy the book, you can listen to the audiobook. There is a good one, that I was listening. It was a Japanese book. Not exactly a Japanese book, but it was a book about a Japanese tradition. I think the name is Meraki. And it's also a good book and it's available on audiobook on YouTube. So you can try to search the books you're interested in, see if it's available on YouTube, and listen to it before buying it. It's a good option as well. So these are my tips for you to stop buying books and try to find other ways for you to consume their content without actually spending money or spending so much money on it. But you have to understand that consumerism is also can be related to good things as well. It's not only related to makeup or clothes. Books can also be a problem that you have, So these are my alternatives to this kind of problem. Okay, so that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one that will be available on Thursday. Okay, so bye.